I've, 22, been with Nicole, 25, for a couple years now, and she's always liked survival stuff and weaponry and all that. I absolutely don't. Really bad experiences with knives when I was younger, and Nicole knows about them. We both love Halloween and usually throw a party and dress up and goof around, cook up pumpkin seeds and watch movies. Anyway, the point is Nicole loves doing tricks with her knives, like 5-finger fillet, flicking it open and closed, twirling it etc., and she'll do it when we're watching a show or movie together, forgetting that I've asked her please not to. Or she'll buy a new one and show it off, asking if I wanted to give it first bite and pout when I say no. 2 days ago she was playing with it again, and I asked her why she keeps forgetting, and she said wow, okay, don't insult my intelligence again, and then that it was just a knife, and therefore not a big deal, and therefore not that important to remember. After that, she put away the knife, and we continued to have an okay night, but I was on edge and jumpy whenever she touched me. Yesterday she called me into the kitchen. Only she was playing 5-finger fillet, and I startled her, and she messed up. Badly. I lost my cool. Screamed my head off, tried shouting what I knew about first aid at her, while I raced to grab my phone, complete panic, dialing 911, only for her start laughing and show me that it was a prank involving red food dye and a carrot. She had a nice laugh about how I would have known it was a joke if I wasn't so squeamish about knives, that it's proof I need to get more comfortable, that anyone with passing knowledge knows that it doesn't look like that when something like that happens. She kept explaining how she did it, how she practiced, how she could show me, but I didn't even answer her. It was like my head was underwater and my heart was beating out of my chest. Just moved on autopilot and grabbed my keys and drove a few blocks away before pulling over to breath. Nicole tried to call me and the first thing I said was, it wasn't funny at all, and she asked, are you crying? Then I hung up on her. She kept texting me, saying she was sorry, that she didn't think I'd react so badly to a joke, that it was just meant to be good fun in the Halloween spirit. I ignored her. I texted her after that I was home, but ignored everything else. This morning she sent a picture of the props to the group chat with a few of our mutual friends, and they chimed in saying, it doesn't even look real. I've muted the chat since, and I'm wondering if I have a leg to stand on before I go back and apologize. Not the idiot. If it were me, I would break up with her simply because she said, it's just a knife and therefore not a big deal, and therefore not that important to remember. She doesn't respect your feelings. I mean, would you push someone who has thalassophobia, fear of deep water, into the ocean, and then laugh at them because they had a panic attack? Your bad experiences with knives when you were younger may be stupid and irrelevant to your girlfriend, but they're not to you, and the fact that she finds it funny to wind you up is a big red flag to me. People who use knives for a purpose, chefs, hunters, wood carvers, etc., tend to take their knives very seriously, keep them sharpened, stored in a case, when not in use, handle them carefully, and with respect they deserve. Think about this seriously. Your girlfriend, as others have pointed out, has a knife fetish. She is already fantasizing about inflicting harm with it, her cruel and sick joke is just a dry errand. She toyed with you, knew it would upset you, and enjoyed your stress response. She probably looked forward to it. Her cruelty is staggering. This behavior will certainly escalate, as it always does with people who fantasize about harming others. Run, don't walk away from this relationship. She told you who she is with this unspeakably cruel sadist prank. What she did and does to you is a blatant and total disregard of your rooted feelings towards knives. She knows you have a strong aversion to them, yet she continues this callous behavior. It sounds to me like she needs to put more effort into your relationship in regards to your thoughts and recognizing your feelings. Nobody should be with somebody who disrespects them, but things can be worked on. Forgive me if I've spoken out turn. So, I feel like I am always posting here, and here is my latest ask. When I moved cities a few months ago, I rented an apartment on a monthly contract while looking for another one to buy. A couple months in, the owner told me that she will be putting it on the market, so she will be needing my schedule to arrange showings. I offered to buy it, and not even 2 weeks later I was the owner of my own apartment. I live in the second floor. The first floor is owned by a family, father, mother and 2 teen boys. The ground floor is 2 garages for cars, 1 for each owner. And finally the roof is split into 2 roofs with a 8 feet wall and separate doors off of the landing. When I bought my house I wanted to redo the kitchen and bathroom, so I took some cookies and knocked on my neighbor's house to ask for their schedule. I didn't want to do work while they were at home to avoid bothering them. That day I was in my balcony and heard the husband complaining about me buying the apartment. Apparently they were planning to do so, but I beat them to it. Now fast forward a couple of months, and I have turned my roof into a garden, with raised beds for my veggies, pots for flowers, some garden furniture and an area with some wooden outside tiles. Well, coming out one day I met my neighbor, and she asked to see the garden with her sons. I showed it off and thought that was the end of it. That is until I started noticing how some of my flowers were cut, the furniture was moved, etc. So, I installed a camera and saw that her sons jump over the dividing wall along with some friends and spend their time there. I told the parents and asked them to tell their kids to stop, that most of the time I am not at home, and if something happened there is no way to open the door to help them, metal door with a huge padlock. They said okay, but the kids continued to do so. They even started destroying my plants for telling on them. So, I gave their mother an ultimatum, they either stop or I will be calling the police. She scoffed and called me an entitled idiot. The next time I got an alert on my phone, I called the cops and said someone broke into my rooftop garden. They came pretty fast and only one kid managed to escape, the other was caught red-handed and taken to the precinct. Their father almost broke my door and started screaming at me to come and drop the charges. I just threatened to call the police on him as well and went to bed. This morning I went to the precinct and dropped the charges, so he spent the night in their jail. I was so sure of my decision that I was teaching him the consequences of his actions. But my mom said that I was too harsh. She said that I punished the parents, not that I taught the kid a lesson. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Not even remotely the idiot. You talk to them. You talk to them again. They, instead of disciplining their kids, basically left you with no other choice. Hell, with that kind of attitude, frankly, you would still never be the idiot, even if you didn't drop the charges. Probably shouldn't have. Probably should have called the police on the father too. I know you need peace where you live, but they jumped so far over the reasonable behavior line that an Olympic vaulter would be jealous. That is your space and your property. Your mom is wrong. By punishing the kid you hit two birds with one stone, you punished both the parents and the kids, even the one who didn't get caught. They knew they were in the wrong, why else would they run, and you stood your ground by following through with your word. The kid should not have invaded your space before and should not invade your space again. Things may be awkward between you and your neighbor, but keep in mind that you are not the wrong and they know it. Those parents sound like the typical parents raising snowflakes. The kid got consequences and rightfully so, spent the night in jail. What's the difference? He's breaking and entering and destroying property. I say it was spending the night with peers or future colleagues. You weren't harsh by giving the parents a chance to tell their kids to cut it out. They ignored it, and the police catching one is a consequence of their own actions. I wouldn't have dropped the charges if I were you, but what's done is done. Make sure to save and document everything from now on, cause those parents do not sound stable at all. No wonder their kids have no respect for others. Once a year, not last, my family goes to a fancy restaurant. Like a place where steaks are 45 plus and sides a la carte. It's a fun treat for us kids at least, as our parents pay. We all catch up and we get to try places we never can't afford yet ourselves. So, 2019 when we went, my parents invited my fiance's mom as we were newly engaged and she hasn't met everyone. When invited, his mom expressed she can't afford it and I told her it's fine cause my parents are paying, it's a treat for everyone. We knew that anyway cause we've been helping recently. I left absolutely disgusted with his mom. She got 4 whiskey sours, red wine, Coke, the most expensive steak, added shrimp and lobster. Then got 3 sides and dessert. Her bill alone was just over $500. Meanwhile, the single highest bill for the other 7 people was $82. My parents bit the cost and asked me not to complain, they don't want to start anything. Boyfriend was equally mad and talked to her. She tried to say that since they picked a restaurant they can afford it, so it wasn't a big deal. When it was explained that this a once a year thing before. Well, this year, my mom invited her again, despite my no, but not so subtlety added a cap to the price point. Well, 20 min or so in the dinner, boyfriend's sister and son show up unexpectedly, which pissed me off, but she asked for her own check, so at least she wasn't coming for a free meal. Her card denied. His mom claimed to not bring her wallet. Boyfriend immediately asked for her check, but my dad, being my dad, went ahead and paid it. Walking out, his sis jokingly asked where we were going next year. His mom said it was a joke, calm down. So, I cancelled the scheduled payment to help her pay 1/4 her rent. It was the same as the meal, so I told her her daughter can pay it or she can. Boyfriend is being harassed by them now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I would cancel another month to get back the $500 too. Those people have some nerve. You have seen how they expect others to take care of them. People like this will assume that you and your fiancé have the same money your parents do, and they will expect you to pay for things. Make it clear now that that is not happening. My father is like that. He doesn't take advantage in that he orders the most expensive stuff, but he sits back and expects me to pay because you can afford it. He had no idea what I can afford, and that's not the point. Do not do anything with these people where there will be a check at the end. Your family absorbed massive costs twice now. I know that your parents pay for you as a treat, but in an ordinary situation, one should try to bring enough money to cover your costs and eat within your own means. If someone offers to treat you, pick something inexpensive from the menu and offer to cover part or all of the tip. Furthermore, guests shouldn't take it upon themselves to invite more guests without asking. They abused your dad's generosity twice now, and they obviously have no qualms using yours for her rent. They abused your parents' generosity. There should be some consequence. Maybe your mom invited her to see if there was going to be a pattern. Now you know there is. It seems like it will only get worse, and hopefully, she won't be invited next year. By the way, is the paying 1/4 of her rent going to be a long-term thing, or just until she can find someplace cheaper? Because once you get married, she shouldn't be depending on you guys for help. You are going to have your own expenses. If you can afford to help with her bills, that is great, but not many newlyweds can do that. I, 23, live with one other person in a rented house. My housemate, 25, is considering offering to host her family here over Christmas while I go back to my mom's place because she doesn't have a car and her parents live about 3 hours away. Neither do I, but I was planning to get a train to my mom's place, which is about an hour away from us. I don't object to her hosting if that's what she wants, but I do have a problem with her plan for sleeping arrangements. She has 2 sisters, 23 and 22, a nephew, 2, and her mom and dad. We have our 2 bedrooms and a guest bedroom and office combo space. Her family is very open and touchy-feely, mine is absolutely not, so she's planning to share her double bed with one of her sisters, have the other sister and her son sleep in the guest room office, and give my bed to her parents. I barely know her parents and don't feel comfortable having them in my bedroom. The last time they came up, they booked a hotel, and I would so much rather they did that this time as well, rather than encroach on my space. I don't want them to go looking through my stuff, and I know they will, even if she asks them not to, because they did when I was moving in. It's my room and I feel like I should be allowed that boundary. I would never put someone in her bed, it just feels wrong, but at the same time, not allowing it does mean that her parents have an additional cost to cover and will have to travel from the hotel to the house each day. But also, if she was living by herself in a smaller house, they'd have to do that anyway. Does she have a right to non-communal spaces just because I won't be here at the time? I also don't like that it means I'll have to plan everything around when I'm leaving and coming back based on her parents' schedules, or else I'll come home and not have a bedroom. So, I want to tell her no, she can't use my bed to host her parents. Would that make me the idiot? Nope, not the idiot at all. You have every right to decide what happens to your space, even when you're not there, you're the one paying for it after all. Your roommate should be thinking about your house as if your bedroom didn't exist, it kind of doesn't for her and her family. It's off limits in whatever way you decide. They can put up airbeds or army cots in the communal space so her parents can sleep there, but that is not your problem to solve. I'd suggest putting up a lock though, because depending on what these people are like, they may just use your bedroom anyway when you're gone and they find it unlocked. Not the idiot. You are entitled to have your privacy in a place you pay for, and that doesn't stop when you leave the house. There are multiple solutions to this other than having people in your personal space and having to worry about what they're looking through, if they're stealing anything, and whether or not you can go back to your house and your room at a time you want. It's your bed, your room, and your housemate needs to respect your decision. Good luck. I will say, though, that it's a nice thing to do as a roommate and you should feel comfortable making some rules. My college roommates and I allowed each other to host others in our rooms if it was planned for and scheduled ahead. The basic rules were that we were responsible for anything missing from each other's rooms, it had to be scheduled ahead, we were responsible for cleaning the sheets, etc. I think a lot of the difference is the relationship you have with your roommates. Mine were like siblings to me, we were best friends and wanted to help accommodate each other as much as possible. If you're just casual friends or the living arrangement was preset, I could see being a little more weary. My neighbors are distant relatives of our family, so we have a good relationship with them. They are a family of 3, an aunt, an uncle and a little girl, let's call her S, who's practically like a little sister to me. I love to cook and I always cook or bake something every day. My parents came to my house to visit, so my aunt and uncle asked if I can cook so that we can have lunch together at my home. I said okay and spent half day cooking and everyone came to my house, but my uncle bought his own plate to eat. I was weirded out and asked my aunt why. She said he only eats from his plate so he takes it everywhere. While eating, my aunt said the rice was undercooked and my uncle said it was overcooked. Yes, they contradicted each other and tried to make us say something bad about the food, but she was so embarrassed, I think, and yelled at them that the food is good, and then my uncle refused to eat the chicken because I would have added butter to it. I know he doesn't like dairy products, so I specifically made this with oil and didn't use anything related to dairy. He's not allergic or vegan, he just doesn't like dairy products, so my mom convinced him that she was there while I was cooking and I didn't add anything other than oil. After 10 minutes of this, he skeptically decided to eat. I was really pissed at this incident and my mom convinced me not to say anything at that time. So I let it slide, mostly because of S. After 2 weeks of this incident, I was going out for grocery shopping when my aunt and uncle saw me and asked if I could make chicken and we could have dinner together. I just politely said that they didn't like my cooking last time, so I'm not doing it. They said no, we didn't like the fried chicken, so this time you can make gravy or something, because S liked my chicken better. I firmly said no, I'm not cooking for them today, and went on my way. They had called my parents and said I was disrespectful and a selfish idiot to them because they offered to buy the ingredients. They did offer, and all I had to do was to cook because S liked it. Here's where I was maybe the idiot. I was really angry and went straight to them and told them I won't cook anything for them anymore, even if it's for S. So now I don't talk to them, and this has affected S very much since she used to hang out with me every single day. So, am I the idiot for refusing to cook? You're not the idiot for refusing to cook after all the comments and criticism. You can pass them the recipe so that they can cook their own damn chicken from now on. I do feel though that your relationship with S shouldn't have taken the hit from all of this. Perhaps you could have let them know that S is welcome over for dinner when she wants, but that it's better if they don't come along, since they both have issues with your cooking and it's stressful for you to try and satisfy everyone. Not the idiot. They came over and not only insulted your cooking, but tried to pressure their child into insulting your food as well, and then they expect you to put yourself in position to have that happen again. That is crazy. There is no way that should happen without them offering a very sincere and groveling apology first. It is a shame that it has impacted your relationship with S. Your post doesn't mention why she doesn't hang out with you anymore, but one can hope that your and S's relationship can be salvaged.